me, Sean Capri, and welcome to We the GamerCast that publishes on podcast services around the world and youtube.com/YumiCapri every single Monday. Patrons get it first, though. They get it a couple days early. Thank you guys so much for subscribing, for listening, for telling your friend, for telling your mom, for telling your dad, for telling your stepdad. Even your stepdad deserves to know about We the GamerCast. Thank you guys so much for being here. We've got a great show for you, and I'm actually going to skip a couple of things. Normally I tell you about the Patreon. I'm not going to do the Patreon today. And I hope you guys understand. And I'm going to get to that in just a second. But if you're new, here's the deal. Every week I have sweet hangs with a stranger from the internet. We talk about life and video games. Actually, this week, it's a longtime friend from the internet. If you want to be on the show, just tweet at me at Sean Capri, Sean like Connery, Capri like the pants. I'm screaming and I'm yelling and I'm excitable because the show is great. But as I record this, it's a tough day. It's a tough day because 1 year ago today, as I record this, the great Bobby Pauls passed away, and we are celebrating his life, but it's an emotional thing to do. And so if you knew Bobby, and if this week is tough for you, I'm here for you. I know what it's like. We're all in this together, and that's the kind of the craziest and most beautiful thing about it is we all know each other mainly because of Bobby. Like, that's kind of incredible. So we're all he brought us together to be there for each other in his passing. So definitely feeling that this morning. I'm looking through old clips, and actually, I'll say it here rather than leave it for the end of the show. At the very end of the show, longtime listeners, even if you only listen to last week, you'll notice that the end of the show historically has ended with a little clip from Heavy Rain, a PS3 game where a character loses his son and he's yelling out, "Jason, Jason!" So if you're wondering what the heck that's about, it's an old gag. Some I can't remember which one it was, but a guest had brought it up as just a ridiculous thing. It came up in conversation, and ever since then I kind of had it at the end of the show, and it just stuck, I guess. It also kind of kept me from having a real outro. I think that's probably one of the biggest reasons that it stayed. But what I'm going to do now that we're a year out from Bobby's passing, and I continue to look for ways to celebrate him and honor him. And what I would like to do is, instead of that clip, have rotating clips, have a different clip each week, somewhere, I don't know, maybe a minute, maybe 2 minutes long or something like that of Bobby. And so this week, at the very end of the show, is the very end of Bobby and I chatting for the first time. When he was on We the GamerCast the first time, the end of the show is him giving me encouragement. This is the clip that you'll hear at the end of the show is the reason the show is still happening, because I was definitely ready to close it down. I was like 5 or 6 episodes in, and anybody who's made content before, you've been there, like those, it's hard to get started, man. And you can, if there's not really an audience, it's just you and your own stupid thoughts. and my stupid thoughts were like, this is hard. Nobody's listening anyways. Why am I doing this? I could do anything else with my time. And Bobby changed all of that and changed my life, man. Like that conversation, that little bit, it's so interesting. Not many of us get to have those moments where our life takes a completely different direction. Very, very seldom is that captured on any sort of medium. So I have that. I have even like not exactly the same thing, but I have the moment I proposed to my wife. That's I have that. I have the photos. I tricked her into thinking she was. We were out learning how to use cameras, but actually I had hired the photographer to capture that moment. So it's very cool that this is here. You'll be able to listen to that if you haven't heard it before. It's there if you've heard it before, but maybe in a long time. You'll notice a lot of differences, man. Audio quality, probably most of all. I've been watching a lot of videos of Bobby and I just over the last couple of days, and it's like our internet connection was hardly hanging on. Our microphones were all over the place, and we grew together, man, a lot. We got better at podcasting, we got better equipment, and we launched Patreons together, and he's a wonderful person, dude. He touched so many lives. It's not just me. It never has been. And I love that we're all together thinking about Bobby. And speaking of that, the reason I'm not going to spend too much time on the Patreon or any time at all, and I hope the producers understand, I want to spend a little extra time talking about Gaming for Guru. It is back. Last year, when Bobby was in the hospital, a bunch of us got together. I think it was actually the Nintendo dads came together and said, we got to do something for Bobby. He's been sick for a long time, and it must be incurring some unimaginable hospital bills. So let's get together and start to raise some money for the GoFundMe that I think had already been started at that point. So a bunch of content creators, people who were close to Bobby and everything. We dedicated a weekend to streaming in his honor and raising money for the GoFundMe. I think we got it up to $20,000, and a very emotional, a very just powerful moment for the community to show Bobby that we were there for him. And I'll never forget that, man. And I'll never forget the power of just video games and this community and how everybody just cares for one another big time. And one of the realizations I had at some point during Gaming for Guru, maybe it was afterwards, is that like that's exactly what Bobby would have done for any one of us. Like, I don't think that that's the reason any of us did it. I just feel like that we just felt like that was the right thing to do is for us to do whatever we could. We didn't want to like stand on the sidelines and helpless or anything. We wanted to do something to show that we were thinking of him and that we were there for him. And I had an opportunity before he passed to FaceTime him, and I got to tell him about that weekend. And I wasn't even going to do it. I wasn't going to tell him about the Gaming for Guru because at the time, and really the entire time, I never imagined that he wouldn't be coming out of the hospital. I just thought that he was going to kind of like do his time kind of thing, and he would receive his treatment and he would just get better. It never occurred to me, not even once, honestly. It just never occurred to me that that this would happen. So I wasn't going to tell him about Gaming for Guru, but his mom encouraged me. She's like, tell him about the thing. And I'm like, I guess I will. I guess here we go. So I told him, and he was so worried that we had forgotten about him, and for us to be able to show him that couldn't be further from the truth was so damn special, and that meant everything to him. So I'm so glad that we did. I really do feel like we did what we could to show him that, to raise the money. We got tremendous support from partners from around the world. We gave away prizes to help encourage more people to donate. We made a real impact for him and a lasting impact for his family, man. And that's what it's all about. Now that Gaming for Guru is back, I want to show his family that we're still thinking of Bobby. We will not forget Bobby. He's impacted so many lives out there, and I don't want it to be, at least for me, just what I think tends to be kind of typical, which is a swelling of support around the time that somebody passes, and then it dissipates forever. At the very least, on this anniversary for Bobby's passing, we can show that we are still with them. We're still thinking of them. And I think for me personally, like, it's a good way for me to just honor and celebrate the friendship that was, man. I try to do that every day, but we'll do it in a big way. With Gaming for Guru, we've got a bunch of people streaming, spreading the good word. We've got prizes coming in. March 4th to 6th, we are celebrating the life of Nintendo Guru. In memory of Bobby, we are raising money for the Autism Society of America. It was a very close cause to Bobby. Every time he would say, "Peace out, Preston." That's what it's all about, man. He loved all of his friends and all of his fans, so we want to do something in his memory. You can go to bit.ly/guru2022 to find out more, to donate. We've already got prizes coming in from Xbox Canada, Ubisoft Canada, Deep Silver. We've got a bunch of codes for a bunch of game codes, man, just a ton. Special thanks to Bored with Video Games, Quest for Pixels, Console Cato, PSVG, Secret Friends Unite, and with the Warp Whistle podcast, Nintendo Dads, Backlog Busters, for joining so far. Did I say We the Nerdy? This might be an old... I thought We the Nerdy was in here as well. I think We the Nerdy is there too. I don't think I said that, actually. Oh, there. Oh, because it's scrolling. Oh, snap. There it is. We the Nerdy and the Trophy Room. Okay, good. Yeah, this... looking at this form, I got to scroll. Special thanks to those content creators for joining in, and hit me up if you guys want to know more. There's a form I just want to get you guys to fill out. I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. If you can provide prizes, if you are a content creator, then please let me know, and we'll be giving away prizes after the weekend. March 4th to 6th, more details coming up, but tune in. Tons of streaming, tons of community happening. That's what it is all about. Video games bringing us together. bit.ly/guru2022. Links are in the show notes. So we're planning for a nice special weekend playing games together, honoring our good friend Bobby Pauls. Now, I'm going to talk about the Backtrackers at the back half of this when I after the chat with Tammy. It just feels right to do that. So I just wanted to give a little highlight, a little spotlight to Gaming for Guru, March 4th to 6th. Check out on Twitter, all those places, all those content creators. we're going to be playing games together. So clear your schedule and tell your friends to donate, and you guys can donate as well. We'll have lots of prizes to give away. Oh, you know what? I think I should I'll do this now. I don't think we've announced this publicly, actually. I think we got to have I'll just say that there's a very big prize coming. I'm not going to, because I haven't talked to anybody else about it, and it's not very fair to steal this announcement. There's an exceptionally generous friend out there who is contributing just an absolutely monstrous prize. So stay tuned for that. We'll just have a little bit of a teaser for that for now. Very cool stuff. Now, Tammi Ryan is the guest on the show today. I'm excited for you guys to hear our conversation. She is just an absolutely lovely human being. We've been friends for a long, long time. We'll get into kind of where it all started in this. This is not her first time. I think this might be her third time maybe on the show. So you can go back and listen to our previous episodes if you like. Her and Mr. Nasty Boots just released their first video on youtube.com/GameNasty. We'll talk about that, and you guys should definitely go check it out. Links in the show notes. Follow her on Twitter at Mrs. Nasty Boots. Here she is, my good friend, Tammi Ryan. I don't love when this happens, when you kind of go, you know, like a day or two, and then a week turns into a month, and then a month turns into a year, and then a year turns into many years. Like, what the heck?
I know. Isn't that just adulthood, though, in general?
I guess, and it's sort of just part of the whole, you know, time goes faster as you get older, you know, like it really is starting to freak me out a little bit.
Oh my God, me too, including like the whole pandemic thing. The last 2 years, I have no idea where those have gone or what's happened. I have no idea.
Is there like a positive to it though, at least? Like maybe, I don't know, I'm just trying to, there's got to be a bright side, because like when I focus on that, like that I've lost 2 years, my mind goes in terrible places. Like that doesn't sound good, but maybe, I don't know, like when everything first shut down, I was like, oh, thank goodness I can at least like catch up and breathe a little bit. I try to think about how insane things were just before that. And of course we've lost a huge amount of stuff since then, but there's got to be something, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I think for me, I don't know, I think for a lot of people, it did teach me to slow down. Like I realized I don't want to work 5 days a week out of my life, and I can quite manage to do 4 and spend that other day concentrating on different projects that I want to do, which was never even a thought before.
Are you down to 4 days a week now?
Yeah, I am now,
Good for you. That's amazing. Living the dream. Holy crap.
I know, it's exciting. And like it's amazing how much more time that you have to do stuff, you know? For just that one extra day.
What sort of like finally hit you that you like, let's not work our entire lives or spend our entire lives working? Like what was that kind of moment?
It was like just feeling exhausted all of the time, and for what payback? And you know, what's the point? If you can survive well enough on a 4-day week, then isn't that worth more than the money that you would make, you know?
Honestly, I feel like that is sort of like this crazy adjustment. I'm hoping that, you know, people who are quite young are maybe taking that lesson. I think it depends on like where you are in your life, and at a certain point sometimes you might feel like you're kind of locked in. I would say that I fall into that camp where it's like the kids are used to a certain lifestyle, the wife is used to a certain lifestyle. Like I'm pretty much like I'm in. Like whatever we're doing now, it's probably going to be that until an absolute mental breakdown happens, and then I'll just use the crisis as the excuse. But I think we're kind of like locked in. But if you're able to, you know, Chelsea and I would say like we kind of made an adjustment before the kids came around to just say like she's going to be a stay-at-home mom whenever we were going to have kids, but she still wanted to work. So that's where her whole photography thing came in.
Yeah.
So we did make an adjustment, I would say, beforehand. And like, I think that was like super important. And I really do think that there's going to be like this generational shift for kids going like, I don't want to do like everybody looks miserable. Like that can't be working. Everybody's totally out of their mind. And I think that'd be a great positive to come out of this. Is 100% to think about it.
Yeah, definitely. It's been so nice to even just sit back and reflect and being like, wow, I really was not happy. I really wasn't. So always positive.
Now, which is amazing. You're always very positive. You're always, I always enjoy chatting with you. You've always got a positive spin, but that's kind of the thing, isn't it? It's like, what's really going on?
Exactly. And it gives you more time to actually sort of look inwards as well. You're not just part of the rat race even.
No kidding.
Constantly, you have a little bit of time and you're like, oh, I actually really like doing pottery, for instance.
Honestly,
then,
is that a thing? Is pottery a thing that you've picked up?
No, sorry,
that would be amazing.
I know, can you imagine?
I don't know what you nasty are doing over there. You're just like recreating scenes from Ghost or something. I don't know.
I know. It wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, Patrick Nasty Swayze over there.
Oh my god.
Well, I feel like you moved since the last time you were on the show. Actually, I feel like a lot has happened. I mean, it was 4 years ago, I think. I was looking at it. It was 2018. Well, you did too, actually. You did like kind of like this, and then also you and Thomas King came on and did something that I remember doing. I remember saying when you were on, like, we should do this more often. I don't think we ever did it ever since. Like, just come on, talk about your favorite games. It was so fun.
That was fun.
But yeah, like, life has kind of changed for you over the last like four transformative years.
Hugely. I live in another country now.
Yes.
Like, bizarre. I sort of sometimes sit back and be like, what?
Seriously.
How did I get here?
So you're in Ireland now.
Yeah.
What's that like? How's that change?
Wet, really wet all of the time.
Okay.
But it's great. Like, it's so good to be part of a different culture, and it's so different to be in England. Like, I never realized how close-minded England is, especially to its history.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a lot of pills I had to swallow and just not say my piece, just let everyone tell me their stories and their history and whatever. And then I had the whole wake-up call of being like, wow, we're not so great.
Well, you've been told one side of the story.
Yeah.
Pre-polished one side of the story, and then you get to the other side and like, oh, I'm now living amongst the people who are on the other side of that story. That's super interesting.
Yeah.
So how does that come up? Like, you're going to work or something, and then somebody goes like, hey, I hear you sound different from me. I need to tell you my side. Like, how does that come up?
Pretty much how it is, especially in this city, because it's literally one side of the water is all Protestant, pretty much. The other side of the water is all Catholic.
Yes.
And so there's people that have different accents, different postcodes, different whatever. And as soon as they hear an English person, it's like, oh, we gotta just sort of like say a few little things. And it's never anything bad. It's just more somehow like a little joke will come along of like, F the Queen, and I'd be like,
a little joke.
Yes, a little joke. It's like that. It's been a fascinating learning curve, I would say.
How does that hit you, like, the first time that sort of thing comes up? Like, do you just you want to keep the peace, I imagine. You just don't want to like cause conflict and let them say their thing.
100%. It's just been one of those things you have to swallow the pill and just listen. I've never really had to be in that situation before until I moved here. We're so ignorant. English people are so ignorant. We think everyone loves us and we're all great, and
Well, but I think a lot of people still like you. Like, I think it's just a matter of I don't know if it has to swing completely the other way, but there's maybe parts of the world that you've bumped elbows with or bumped shoulders at some point in history, and there's an impact. There's a lasting impact. Did you expect that before you moved over? Like, that was okay. So you're like living the romantic fantasy. I met my man. I'm gonna go move over to his country, and what is happening?
I'm so sorry.
Exactly. Just wearing a shirt that says "I'm sorry" all the time. This is Canadian life. This is us. We're just, I don't know what happened, but I'm sorry. I'm just sorry about that.
I relate.
So no heads. I mean, like, you must be then, like, I don't know, like, was there even any way to warn you about that? Like, I don't know if, like, it's just something you don't even think about, I guess.
It was more like, there's been a few little conversations that we've had, like me and Aaron have had.
Yeah.
Where it's...
Oh, you don't call him nasty? Like, just...
No,
No.
It's normally babe.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
So there's been, and he's taught me a lot. I know he's a maniac, but he's also incredibly intelligent too. Incredibly intelligent, and his knowledge of history and culture and folklore and all of that is so rich. So the conversations that we've had where I've had to go, oh, okay, especially because I come from a military background as well. So in my head, I've always been like believed to think that God save the Queen and country and all of that. So then to suddenly hear somebody else's perspective, it was just so fascinating. And I will say it was part of the whole Romeo and Juliet kind of love story that sort of happened too, alongside everything else. But
Is that something that, when did that sort of like dawn upon you that it was a bit of like star-crossed lovers? Like, you're not really supposed to be together. Like, it's sort of like, I don't know, is it looked down upon from like both sides? Like, what are you doing over there? What are you moving over there for? And then you arrive, like, what are you doing here? Is that really what it's like?
No, I wouldn't say, but there's always a little bit of like tongue in cheek.
Little hint, little latent.
Yeah, always.
Oh man. Well, how long has it been now? How long have you been over there?
I think 3 years in November.
Yeah. Had you ever moved? Have you ever done anything like that before? Like, even within England? Like, have you been around? Like, because I think moving is daunting as all get out. Like, I live 25 minutes away from where I grew up, like with my parents. Like, that's as far as I've moved. I don't know how people do it, but I always admire when people are flexible enough to go like, I'm just gonna uproot. Sure. Yeah. What the hell? Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. I have always been like that ever since I moved out when I was 16, and there's been parts of my life I've drifted back home in between places and whatever, but I've always been out and about. And then when I was 18, I lived in France for about a year in a tent.
Oh wow. and a year in a tent.
In a tent, yeah.
What the heck? Okay, what is that? I don't think we touched on that last time. How did that happen? Why were you in France, and where didn't you get a place?
Like what? It was I got a job for a holiday rep company called Eurocamp, they were called. Yeah. So I was over there basically from setup to takedown, and obviously the whole season in between. So yeah, it was good. It was great. I was 18 and had lost my way a little bit, and I needed to like reinvent myself, and it was the best thing I could have ever done.
I'll bet.
Definitely came out with it with a little bit of an alcohol problem. Just getting on it all the time.
Just a little bit.
It was great.
Good parties happening over there?
Oh yeah, definitely. The French know how to party.
What about the language barrier? Like, is this just a European thing? You guys just like, whatever, like, come on in, we'll figure it out? Is that, I don't know, because I'd be lost.
Yeah, pretty much, I would say. Pretty much. Yeah. But then back to the whole ignorant English. We kind of just presume everyone else speaks it too.
No, but what I was thinking is like, you know, you think about, I don't know if it's quite as clear in North America for somebody from England going over to Ireland going like, ooh, that might be a little tricky. What I think is more obvious is maybe France, maybe going over there. I think that would actually be tougher for you to maybe a bit more of a culture clash in a number of fronts historically, and just language as well.
Yeah, but it's also great because you're also around a lot of other people that are like-minded and have lost their way and willing to learn new experiences and all of that. So you're not just putting up the walls, I guess.
Right.
You're opening it up to it.
Mm-hmm. Who told you? Like, how did that opportunity even come up? Like that again? That just seems like you have to really go out of your way to land there.
Do you know what? I don't know.
Are we getting to the point where we don't remember how we were doing things at 18, 19?
Pretty much. Yeah,
I think
pretty much.
Yeah. It's so sad. Sometimes I think about like, holy crap, that was actually half of my life ago, more than half. Like, yeah, I'm 37, so 18 was 19 years ago. What the heck happened?
Stop it. It makes you feel so sick.
I know. Like, man, back then, the world was a different place back then too.
Wasn't it just, oh my God. We have this conversation all the time as well about having the kids around with internet and having the knowledge. Every single thing that you could ever want to know is at your fingertips. It's not like how when we were kids or teenagers where if we wanted to know the lyrics of a song, we'd have to go through like a CD. Seriously? Or, a book or whatever. But Now
I remember listening to songs over and over again and writing them down. Like
Me
as
too.
I could hear them, just trying to like, I need to remember this, so I'm going to write this down.
I know.
That means we had a lot
that.
of time. That means we had time on
I
our
know.
hands.
And it felt like you had a childhood, whereas a lot of these kids are sat staring at a phone for hours a day, hours and hours and hours a day, and that breaks my heart.
We still had Nintendo. We still had games.
Yeah,
We
also got booted out of the house.
That's true. That's true. Go play outside was like that could just be like on repeat. Just go outside. Don't care what you're going to do. Just go outside. That's the thing that I'm not sure. And I'm not sure if it's different over there as it is here, but I don't know. It's like, it seems like it happens in pockets where there's like, it's almost like the really extreme kids are the ones who will just like, their kids will kick them out. Don't care. It's like a lost art. Like,
yes.
Because there is a lot of, I would say, like almost like helicopter parenting, and it's hard. As a dad now, it's like it's hard not to. Like you don't want your kid to get hurt, but at the same time, like you kind of have to figure some stuff out.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
I give credit to. Cause I think the other thing, there's almost like a perspective that if you just send your kids outside, that you don't care, or that you're not parenting, or it's like an absent kind of way of doing it. It's like. That's the peer pressure that happens there is real, I would say.
I'm sure. I'm absolutely sure.
Yeah. It's been, time is pretty wild right now.
Isn't it?
Yeah. But have you guys gotten into more games because of it? Like now that you're at home, now that your lives have actually like kind of come together, obviously you're making content now too, which is very, very cool. Finally, how long have you guys been talking about making content, first of all?
Since we met, which is it's mad. It just took so much to do it, because we didn't want to go into it like just a webcam and that's it. Right. We were like, if we're going to do this, we're going to do it properly, but doing it properly means equipment and studio and, all of that. And all of that takes money and time and, so... we got there eventually.
Well, I'm glad that you guys did, because and you did it in a way that you came right out of the gates. Your first video is like actually really good. I think that even in years to come, you'll look back and hopefully you'll keep doing it and progressing. I think everybody will look back on their first video or whatever content and go like, ooh, I could have done better. I've learned a lot since then. Yeah. But I don't know, like your guys' first video is so good. And I think if you just were to compare against anybody else coming out with like their first stuff, it's like you've obviously put some thought into it. So I'm glad that you guys were able to like turn the corner after putting a lot of, I would say, requirements in your own way. Because a lot of people will do that and never put anything out. They're like, I need this. Oh, and I just need this. Oh, and I just need this. And it almost becomes a list of excuses. Yeah. Did you ever get worried that you would put in all this work, buy all this gear, and then never actually put anything out?
100%. I mean, that video took pretty much a year to make, to be honest, because we would be really on it, and then it'd be like you not lose the passion, but lose the drive, because you're like, no one's going to watch it anyway. It doesn't really matter, and and then it was sort of like, nope, all into it, and then off again. And but now it's out. It's sort of we've got no excuse anymore. We just keep making, we keep going, we keep doing it. I mean, even just before we pressed publish on that one, we were like, look, it's been a while since Resident Evil come out. Is it even going to get clicks? Is it even, do people care about it anymore? But it seems to be doing well. So I'm pretty impressed.
I think the series overall is just like pretty timeless in a lot of ways, whether it's each individual entry in the franchise or just the series itself. And then just this notion of, I made my girlfriend play a horror game. Like that's timeless. Like that is so good. And then you two are both just like actual characters. Like you're natural on screen, and your back and forth is hilarious. And then I need more videos to take just the head and have it around. It's so good. Who's the creative force when it comes to like the visual presentation of this thing? Like or is it both you guys like coming together? Go like, wouldn't it be fun if we did this?
Yeah, it's both of us. We never storyboarded at all. We literally just had raw files. Yeah, we did nothing. We were just like, got raw files. Let's go. And then like the very start of the video is so different to how it ended, because we had no idea what we were doing. We were just That's funny. That we'll put that on there.
Talk to me how you guys like come together, because I think it's super interesting. I don't know if Chelsea and I could do that. Like work
It's
together
tough.
on a crate. It's tough, like because there's a decision, something has to be done. Like I think that can be, I don't know, it can be hard to, because ultimately like there's decisions that have to be made. And what is it like working with your partner on that?
It is hard, especially Nasty can be the most stubborn asshole ever. Like he can be so stubborn, but then the problem is so can I. And so it'll be little things like that where we're both absolutely exhausted and we don't want to play, but then it's like we have to play because we got things to film, and it's like one of those things. It kind of, because I was worried that it was going to take the passion out of gaming for us a little bit, just because you're not able to just sit down and play. You have to try and entertain at the same time.
Yes.
I don't know how you stream without, like, to keep it going constantly. It must be so difficult. I mean, that was just edited. So let alone what it's like doing it live. Hats off to you guys.
Having an audience does change it, I would say. Like streaming, I think with streaming, we've all been there. Like if you stream to like nobody, that's basically kind of like what you're doing. I think that is what some of the hardest to just like, I'm just on, and then you hit the record button off, and then you're done. Like that I think is, I would say, much more difficult, to be honest with you.
I'm sure.
And it's funny, I was talking to Marcus O'Neill about this a little while ago, that this notion of playing a game without really an end goal to it. Like I've been doing this for so long now that I almost forget what that is like to just play a game. Yeah. And it is kind of become so ingrained in like what I do and who I am that I wonder if I'm able to stop. Like that's something that's like a deep, like I need to like talk to somebody about that. Like, because it kind of scares me a little bit. Yeah. Like what if I stopped podcasting? What if I stopped creating content, which I'm not planning on doing, but what if I did? What would my relationship with games be like? Like, could I still play them as much as I do without feeling some sort of like weird guilt that maybe I should be doing something else with my time? Like at least now I've got a productive kind of thing associated with it, which checks a box for my brain.
Well, of course. Just imagine what it would be like if you could play a game without a goal as such anymore, rather than just finishing it. Yeah.
Most people do play that way, and I think people who like listen to the content are like that. And I would say that it's probably like, I mean, you and I, what did we talk about last time? Skyrim? Like, you're just like, let's get in on Skyrim, like just because, and then there's all this cool stuff that comes out of it. Yeah. But are you, because you guys are doing Alan Wake right now, right? You're playing Alan Wake?
We've finished, so let's see what happens next with that. We don't know.
Yeah, how did that go?
I was terrified. I had no idea it was a horror game.
As I spit out my coffee. Oh my gosh. You didn't know it was a horror game?
No,
how do you get, okay, so is it Nasty like giving you like, okay, now he's literally like sitting you down in front of the TV going, you're going to play this one now?
Yeah.
Like, all right.
Yeah, pretty much. And I can't wait. I cannot wait till it's my turn.
Oh, nice. So it's going to go back and forth. You're going to pick a game for him to play. Oh, I love it. Is the deal that you have to finish, like, do you have to complete the game? Like, you always have to have like an end credits kind of resolution?
I mean, it's not a deal, but it's, we have to see what comes next. If it's something like Dead Space, no, absolutely not.
Oh, come on. Oh my gosh, Dead Space is amazing, but it is terrifying.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Do you want to like know of like things that he's thinking of? Like, is that part of the collaborative process, or is he just like secretly? I wonder too. I'd love to maybe he can comment on the show, or I don't know, maybe I gotta ask him directly. Like, where is he brainstorming these ideas for you? Because that sounds like half the fun, honestly.
It's true. That's a dark, cavernous space in his mind. I don't know what he's thinking of.
We just secret have to, notebook.
That's it. It comes out, and then I am like, okay.
Oh my god! I love that you didn't. So, but you have to know that like that's sort of the direction of these videos is that you're gonna shit yourself, as I think you so politely said, I think, a number of times.
Pretty much. Yeah.
What's your history with horror games though? Like, it can't be something that you played a lot back in the day. Absolutely, I think you talked about this on the video, but
yeah, literally my only and until now really is Resident Evil. the first one.
Like
And
nothing, like you just avoided them. You saw them, you're like, no thanks.
I remember a couple of years ago, I tried diving into The Evil Within 2.
Oh, there you go, dude. That is one of my favorites. Those two of them. Oh, yeah. I think I like the first one better, but yeah. Sorry, I got excited.
That's all right. I love the whole survival part of it, but then I was like, oh my god, this is too scary now. I can't do it.
Seriously, I had to take breaks. I would limit myself because I liked it so much. I wanted to just keep playing it, but I would set timers on my phone. I'm like, I got 20 minutes because I will sweat through my shirt. Like I was actually like heart rate, blood pressure, like all of the bad things were happening to me. And I love it. I don't know what it is. That's a weird like taboo part of my brain that's like, yes, please. But everything else is like, no, thank you.
Yeah.
How did you land up playing that one?
I think that's when I was doing some stuff for the Gamer Access. They wanted me to play a horror game with them. And it just got to a point where I was like, boys, I can't. I just can't. I'm sorry. I've got no one here to help me. You're making me play it in the dark. I don't want to.
Oh, come on. That's too much, actually. But you know what? Broad daylight, window open, everything. Still terrifying. Still terrifying. And are you doing with headphones and everything? Like you're getting a pretty immersive experience. Like there's no escaping for you.
No, there's definitely parts in Resident Evil where I thought I was on the edge of a panic attack, especially with the baby bit. Seriously. Oh my god, it's awful.
No. That's terrible. Okay, so like how long can you keep this up for? Because like it's not, I don't know, like is there any bit of it that's enjoyable like at all? Because it sounds like this is putting you in a pretty crappy spot.
Like I'll be like, oh yeah, this is fun, and then suddenly the music starts building up, and then if there's one enemy, fine. If there's 10, no.
Oh my gosh.
I think even playing Alan Wake, I definitely had a moment where it was like, I don't want to do this anymore.
But you must. You are on the clock. You got to get it done.
Exactly.
So when it's done, like, do you ever get to a point, and I don't know, and like maybe this is it for me, and I think The Evil Within is a good example where the first maybe half or third of the game or whatever, like, will terrify me like nothing else. And Dead Space is actually a really good example of this, where I'm like, there's no way I can keep playing this game. And at a certain point, you kind of get all the tricks that they've got up their sleeve, and the scare factor kind of wanes down. And especially I think in like Resident Evil games, at a certain point, it turns more action than scaring the crap out of you.
Yeah. And that's why I think that Village did it so well, is that I was terrified at the start, and then I was like, ooh, action, I like this. They're giving me a gun.
And okay, that's what I was looking for.
Yeah. And then they throw the bloody dollhouse baby thing at you, and then it was just like this. I hate everything. I hate it all.
So do you guys have some sort of like cadence or frequency of the videos, or just whenever it's ready you kind of like put it out? Like are you weighed down by any expectations that you put on yourself?
I mean, we do. We have deadlines of games that we want to play in the future, different styles of videos, but that are coming out this year. But it's also, he works full time. I'm only here one day a week, and then we got his kids that come over half the time as well. So we're trying to record and make sure that we can do everything while still living a life. So that's really difficult to do. And like, again, hats off to creators that have a rigid upload schedule, because that's very impressive. But the way that YouTube is upload often and frequently, and the algorithm's going to favor you. So that's a little bit not on our side, but we're hoping a big one like the Resident Evil one every month. We're hoping, because now we've got the ball rolling, and then tiny little random snippets throughout the months, but still.
I think there's something to be said about that, is like somebody who's kind of on the opposite end of that spectrum, where like we have between RPG Cave, Xbox Drive, all the things, like we basically have something coming out every day. And it's like, I'm really appreciative of everybody who's able to, or for the select few, I should say, of people who can like keep up with all of the things, but like it's too much. Like realistically, it's actually too much to expect any one person to consume all the stuff. So like as a watcher and as a friend, it's like, I kind of appreciate that it's like one. And then you know if this is going to be a pretty meaty thing, because it was like 20 minutes. It was like 20 or 30 minutes or something, right? Like it's not even, which is great. Like if you're doing it once a month and you've got you set that expectation, I think is half of it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. it also keeps us under control as well. Whereas with the first video, we had no time scale to put it out. Whereas now we've got one out. It's like, oh, keep it going. We got to keep going. We can't stop, because if we want to make anything of this, we have to, you know. And that's the end goal eventually, is to do this full time. And
hey, there you go. You
never know.
My next question. That was my next question. Yeah, like what is the goal? So you want to go full time with the content creation, making games, putting it on the internet. I love it.
Definitely. Yeah. It's something that we consume is YouTube. We do not consume any other forms of media apart from Netflix. It's literally YouTube. So we've been really, really studying it, especially since this last video. There's so much we would change, but we've been really studying what we can do to make this better and make it into a career. And I guess it's
good
all
for
about
you.
Manifest it and keep going. Yes. You know, so we're hoping.
What kind of stuff have you guys been watching? Like, what are you inspired by?
My inspiration, and this is nothing to do with his content, but it's Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast. Yeah. He is. I find him a fascinating person to listen to. On like the podcast he goes on to. His intelligence is like no other when it comes down to algorithms and CTRs, and
he just knows it. Like it's in his bones. Like he just gets it for sure.
Definitely. So I find him really fascinating. Whereas we also watch a lot of, like, I don't know, RGT 85 and beat 'em ups and all of that. We consume a lot of that kind of content too. So it's sort of like a little bit all over the place.
Yeah, beat 'em ups. I don't even know how I ended up finding him, but I think at some point, like he, I think lost like a relationship with Nintendo. Yeah. And I think that's where I like somehow like algorithm just said, you should watch this. And I'm like, this guy's hair is just incredible. Like, can I please? Oh my gosh. Like, I don't know. I used to have long hair down to like my shoulders. Like it was
Did you?
Oh yeah. Like it was.
Wow.
We had a bet back in high school as a bunch of friends. We were just like, well, let's see who can go the longest growing out their hair. And all of us were just shaggy disasters. And I turned out to like it, like in the end. And also it was at a time where I wasn't trying to think. I guess I've always been working, but I guess it just didn't really impact my job too much. And in school, you just wear a hat all the time.
There you go.
And in Canada, everybody's a hockey boy. Like everybody is around, just they all play hockey. And there's a particular look that we all just kind of developed. You got like, when your hair sticks out from under your hat on the side, they call it like wings. You say kind of, so it's a whole thing. And yeah, I went probably 4 or 5 years with like super, super long hair.
My gosh, I bet that was so fabulous as well, Sean.
I loved it. My wife is not a fan of the pictures. She wasn't really with me back then, but I'm like, it was great. I was a fan, but I can't grow it out now is my point of this rambling. So I look at beat 'em ups and I'm like, I can't even do it. It takes so long. Like, what happened to my body? I can't even grow out my hair anymore. It's so sad. But Mr. Beast beat 'em ups, I think quality wise too, even for beat 'em ups, it's just like the lighting, the camera, you know, the
exactly. Because it's not necessarily his content. I actually personally, and this is my opinion, I don't think he's a very likable character. But I'm still drawn to his videos because the editing is so good and it's so sharp, and even just the ad reads he does is so perfect.
Sharp is a good word for it. It really is.
And so I'm inspired a lot of the time, not just by the content, but how it looks and how it comes across and the pace of it and stuff. And that's why people like Mr. Beast I find absolutely fascinating. You know, he could be gibbering on for 10 minutes and as long as it looks good.
He's the kind of person who I think beat 'em ups is a little bit different in this way, but I think Mr. Beast is the kind of guy like you feel like you've known him. Like I don't know about you, but I have a friend who reminds me who is exactly like Mr. Beast. And I feel like a lot of people probably have a friend who's like that. It's just like this very friendly, very like I would say kind-hearted. But not even like he doesn't come across as the sharpest person, even though he is very intelligent. He doesn't like strike you as like he's a studious kind of person. He just gets it.
Yeah, messing around with his mates, having a good time, you know,
pretty
that
much,
kind of thing.
Yeah, but then like one of the like most savvy business minds and creators, and just tapped into the viewer's mindset. Yeah, you know, and focus and setting the trends. I think that's amazing. And at a certain point, I would say even like Bobby and I, well, Bobby less so, because Bobby was always doing YouTube videos. Yeah. But we kind of went like, we can just turn on a mic and create our content here, and we just podcast. Yeah. And I would say, like, I don't know, like, once you enter in podcast world, then you're alongside a bunch of other people are doing basically the same thing. So how do you differentiate against that? But when I look at like what this is versus like what you guys are doing with YouTube and all those other creators, like that's an area that when I think about if I wish I had another 24 hours every single day, that's the kind of content I would love to dive into. Yeah. It's like edited stuff. Like I love that when you said storyboarding, like, let's plan this out. Let's think about like what beats we want to hit and what we want to cover. I think that is amazing. So you guys are kind of living out my dream a little bit.
Oh, we'll keep it going.
Yeah, please do. Please do. I love it, man. Holy crap. So Alan Wake is next. You mentioned too, changing gears a little bit. Nasty's kids come into your life a little bit. Yeah. So, you know, we kind of jumped in at the beginning talking about a little bit of culture shock maybe. What's it been like for you? Like, you're basically playing like a bit of a stepmom role.
Yeah, it was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do ever, because I was technically living in England, young, free and single, you know, like I was in my mum's house because I was in between like places and things. And then in a space of 30 minutes, I got on an airplane and then landed in Ireland, and then suddenly became a stepmom and a girlfriend and homemaker. And, you know, I was like, my whole life had completely changed, So definitely went through peaks and troughs, and it's still a learning curve, you know, especially because they're getting older, so they're getting a little bit more snappier, I guess. But we're approaching teenagehood with one of them, and it's like, oh, this is going to get scary because I know what I was like when I was a teenage little girl, you know.
That's the terrifying part, right? Yeah, how did we survive? Like, what the heck are these kids gonna do, you know?
Exactly. You don't want to know what I was up to.
Well, before I dive further into this, is this like where you're at right now? Did you ever picture this? Like, did you ever think about like your 30s, and beyond? Like, did you ever think about like where you might end up in life? And did you ever have like a plan beyond?
Absolutely not. No, I've never been that person to have a 5-year plan, and everybody should, but I just never have. I don't see beyond. Nah, true.
I don't know about that.
I just can't. I'm not a forward thinker in that way, I guess. Yeah. And I never would have thought this would have been my life. No way. Yeah. In a million years.
And that's why I say, like, I don't know that I wouldn't say it's a requirement, because it seems like it seems like you're doing okay. Yeah. It seems like you're good. Like, so like things kind of work out. They always, like, they tend to do.
Yeah, definitely. And it's not to say that it hadn't affected my mental health. It definitely did, because it was basically going through like a process, a grieving process, if you will, of what my old life was compared to what it is now. And that's not to say that I wasn't happy about it. It just meant there was a lot of change, and very quickly, and very like more than what I thought there was going to be, because I was naive to really what it meant, you know. Right. But still, we're getting there. We're a little family, you know. So
that is amazing. Well, and I love this note. Like, where did you come to that realization? I've had a couple of these moments over the last few weeks with people on this show where it's like, it's such an what you just said is like really elevated in mindset. I would say, like, that it wasn't a bad thing that your life is different. It's just different, and I don't like. It's like that to me says that you've reflected on this at least for a half a second before. Like, was that guided reflection? Is it just you sitting and thinking about it? Like, how do you come to that in terms of like coming to grips with this is what life is and this is the difference? Like, I don't know, just that comparison of before and now. Yeah. I think that's really evolved, honestly.
Yeah, definitely. And I think in all honesty, I put it all down to counseling. I couldn't, I'm such an advocate for counseling and looking after your mental health. And if you need medication, take medication. If that's good for you, you know, you do whatever you need to do. But therapy is probably, as honestly, saved my life in more ways than one, you know. Same. And I would forever keep it up too. I don't think just because one batch of counseling sessions is over doesn't mean that your mental health needs to suffer, you know. Like
that can be scary at first, where you're feeling really good about like maybe a single session, like I did it. And it's like that's where I wish they would just package it, like mental and dental plans is what I want. Just like put them together. I go to the dentist twice a year, and like teeth are still locked in there, like doing pretty good. So yeah, why not that other side of it? And I think we're going to start to see that. It's not going to be quite as like enlightened to think maybe I should think about my mental health. It'll just be like, yeah, well, you brush your teeth every day. You should probably, do this other thing as well.
Exactly. And I don't think I would say it's been the last sort of 3 months that I've really started with therapy. And I got to say, my way of thinking has just been flipped 180,
right? So it's like a cheat mode.
Yeah, exactly. So could vouch for it. 100% I vouch for it.
How did you like discover it? Like what kind of pushed you towards it? Was it somebody else, or did you go like, okay, that's it, I need to go talk to somebody?
It was I snapped and I was like, no, I'm not being at rock bottom. I'm not gonna do this. Yep. This is not for me. So and no looking back, like I feel good, and I'm looking forward to the future and stuff. So yeah.
I love it. Well, yeah, let's what about these kids? What were like what was it like when you just first started and you kind of like introduce yourself? Like, you're becoming a real part of their lives? And I imagine that this is all a bit of a test on, you and Nancy, like, you're the real deal. Like, this is actually going to be a thing, because you kind of have to accept all these other changes along
all
with
the things. Yeah, exactly. And it was really good. There was a lot of expectation at first, and because I was originally meant to be sort of moving in with some of his friends in like a house share sort of thing, and then it suddenly went, oh no, might as well come and live here.
Yeah.
And then it was like, oh, okay. God, kids. Okay, what do I do here?
Yeah.
And then it's sort of trying to learn your boundary. Like, you're not a friend, you're not a mother. You're
what even is that?
Exactly. Or am I a big sister kind of role, or am I like? I think for them it was just as hard to try and think about who I was. They were great though. They were absolutely fantastic, really warm, welcoming, loved having me around, and it was just more my little like self being like, oh, how do I navigate this?
Yeah. Can't really ignore it, because this is gonna be here for a while. This is one of those things. As I'm talking to you, I'm kind of realizing there's certain things that happen all the time in the world, right? And I think this is where expectations kind of come into play that ruin our brains. People give birth every single day, like millions of babies are born every single day. People become parents and or in this case, like a step parent all the time. Like as families split, unfortunately. This is part of a way of life. People get cancer. Like things happen all the time.
Yeah.
But nobody talks about it. Like,
no.
This is what I kind of realized when Chelsea had a baby. It's like, well, this is like life-changing for us. This is like, I don't know what, my entire world is turned upside down. But because it happens all the time, it doesn't seem like a big deal.
Yeah.
But it's like, this is the biggest deal in my entire life. And that like, it's totally unequal.
Yeah.
And I feel 100%. Like the same thing for you entering a situation like you did, where it's like, this happens all the time. So you should probably just deal with it. Like, that sucks. That's not the way it should be. That's terrible.
No one writes a book, on any of these things.
That's what I'm saying.
I was like,
exactly. Yes. Like, why isn't anybody talking about this? Like, for Chelsea and her second, like with Ellie, it was like C-sections all the time. That's a huge deal. That's a major surgery that happens. And it's like, people just go, it's a C-section.
Yeah.
Like,
and then
I don't know. I'm just trying to like recalibrate my big deal meter every once in a while. Like, is that a big deal? Is that, like, just because it happens all the time, it happens. Everybody has like their first time.
Yeah.
And I think when we talk about first time, everybody thinks about one thing, and that's a big deal. We'll talk about that as your kids, and hopefully not kids, adults.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this notion of you're entering in something new that happens everywhere, you still feel like you're on a bit of an island.
Yeah, 100%. That's such a bizarre way. I've never really thought about that, but now I'm going to be like, I was right to feel the way I did.
Yes, absolutely. And then you just get mad at everybody else. Like, why did you tell me about this? Why are we talking about this? Yeah, it's a predictable road that I've been on that you can enjoy as well. You just start looking at everybody else going like, where were you? Why couldn't we talk about this? But I think for Chelsea, like she's in a mom's group. She's in a ton of moms groups on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's where like she kind of gets her support and kind of takes advice from this person and that person and ignores it maybe from that person. But I think that's where community comes in.
Definitely. I couldn't agree with you more. And like Discord is also a great place for that, you know? It's like I found the love of my life. Mate,
right?
Exactly. How crazy is that? It's so mind-blowing.
Do you guys remember the date? Do you remember when you first like came on in? And I'm not even sure how the heck, like you found Bobby and I guess. Yeah. You came on into the Discord.
And then I trundled all in. And then I think it was April 11th was the day that I came in, I think.
That is amazing. So we're coming up on that pretty soon, actually.
We are, which is mad, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, unfortunately, another anniversary is coming up. Are you thinking about Bobby these days?
Yeah.
I was actually just looking at because all these used to be a live video that we used to do on We the Nerdy's YouTube channel. And I looked up your episode just to kind of like catch up a little bit. I'm like, what were we chatting about? And it actually started with Bobby and I doing a little bit coming up on episode 100 of If We Were in Nintendo. And it's just like, oh man, like he's just I'm always thinking about him. And it'll be about a year as this episode drops actually. So I feel like I've basically spent the last year going in and out of deep dives of Bobby content and not. So I'm curious, like, how have you been doing with with Bobby? Yeah.
Actually, I would say something amazing came out of his passing, and that's the bond that, like, every Saturday night, I would say there's probably been like 5 Saturday nights where me, JB, Rybo, sometimes it's too early for him, but he tries to make it. Dawn, Jams, Tanina, and Skinny Matt, we jump on a call and we play games together. And I will say that started because it was like, oh, kind of let's all have a group call and just see how everyone's doing, you know. And then it's just become a thing that now every Saturday night that we try and get together. And sometimes obviously we different people from different parts of the world trying to
honestly, I don't know how you're doing that. Time. It's like 5-hour differences at the closest.
That's it. But it's always, I will say, it's always been really nice. And there's been loads of really nice stories that have like been shared on a weekly basis. And, you know, it's a special time. So I know on Saturday, see if people are about. I know it's going to be a tough day for people, but if people are about, then hit us up. We're more than happy to have a little chat and play games.
I couldn't agree. And we'll definitely be sharing that. It's going to be a pretty heavy day, I think. And it's one thing that like, if you weren't there, if you didn't really know Bobby, like it can be difficult to kind of understand like what everybody else is going through. But with that said, I've been seeing so much compassion from people, you know, like just, this is my point about community. It's like, I'm learning so much on how to be there for other people.
I'm sure.
Like what people are actually doing for each other. Like I see it, you know, in a way that I don't think that I really ever did. And where I grew up, like on the north side in my town, it's like everybody was so hard, you know, everybody's just, there is none of that side. Nobody's supporting each other. Nobody's being nice. Everybody's looking out for themselves and everybody's trying to one up each other. It's like, that sucks. Like, you know,
that does.
So I've just come to really appreciate when people go out of their way to make sure other people are doing okay. And that's just like, that really is a beautiful thing.
Oh yeah, definitely. And it's rare as well. It's so rare. So when you do have people like JB that always will do anything. Man. I love him so much. And I would do everything to protect that man. Anything.
Yep. Seriously. Yeah, we need to preserve JB forever. Some sort of program or something. Keep this man around. And he's just, I know he's what, 24? Like he's 20. I don't know. He's a kid. I don't mean to disparage him at all because it's not. He's just so. I've always said he's wise beyond his years.
100%.
He knows. He's like, speaking of like almost like a Mr. Beast. He's just tapped in with what people need.
Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. That's definitely a super special skill that man has, and he's so good at it too. Like he just knows if you need a little message, he'll do it without you even saying anything. You know.
Do you remember where you found Bobby? Do you remember like how you ended up coming across his content? Like for me, it was like he just reached out to me totally randomly, and it's like just this. I'll never forget it. It just seemed like it was meant to be. Like sometimes you have these moments. Maybe it was the same for you when you came into the Discord, and then there's Nasty, and then it's just like, okay, well,
this
right place,
now.
right time. Yeah, something put you there, right? And something put me in a spot where I was gonna meet Bobby, because like could have just gone on my merry way, just like living my life. And I really think about it being completely different, almost like butterfly effects. Like if I'm in that spot and he DMs me, then I live the life as I am now. If that doesn't happen, who the heck knows? Some parallel universe. There's a version of me that doesn't ever meet Bobby. Bobby never meets me, and who even know what happened? Like that. God, that's mind-numbing stuff. Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be here if that had happened. I wouldn't be in Ireland here. Just
so, honestly, I might not be like, part of it is like, I think about all the things that happen, and for me, it's like maybe I wouldn't have even started practicing the skill of like talking to people, because like I was gonna shut it down if I didn't meet Bobby. Like I was thinking, this is, like, to your point earlier, nobody's listening. This is hard as hell. Why am I doing this to myself? I'm ready to be done. And
oh my goodness.
Bobby was like, no, I've had an amazing time. People need to be on this show. It's like, that was the lift.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's what people need. Like, you just never really know how. It's like, it sounds almost cliche to say, unfortunately, now. It's like that people like encouragement and positivity is helpful. It's like, there's not really the words to describe just how critical that can really be.
Oh my God. Isn't it? It's crazy. It is really crazy. I think I only found Bobby, I want to say it's because you and Thomas King did a podcast together. Mm-hmm. And then because me and Thomas were really close, I was like, oh, what's this? And then it clicked onto your description box, and then I ended up going all over the place, and then it slid into the Discord, and then you know, but mad how that even happened.
No kidding. I don't mean to put you on the spot or anything, but do you have any memories of Bobby as we're kind of hovering around his?
There's multiple, but my favorite is the one Boxing Day. Me and Aaron and Bobby all spent hours playing Diablo together, and I love that so much, because it was like it wasn't recorded, it wasn't for anything. It was just a really close, special moment, banter, having a great time, you know. And I loved it, absolutely loved it.
But that really makes me think about like this notion of like almost everything I do is recorded. And as much as I really want to lean into things, just like you guys, like you just want to do the best with your content. It's like there really is something special if you can just go like offline for a little bit, and you just play. You know?
Yeah. I mean, thank God you have recorded so much, because there's a lot of stuff there that we can all look back on now and be like, wow, thank you. You know.
I actually want to do this show has and I don't remember who got me to do it at first, but the show always ends with like this silly scene from Heavy Rain, like Jason, and it's so stupid. And anybody who's like listening on their podcast app or whatever, and they're away from their phone as the show's ending, like, oh God, like just end it, just stop. I can't even hit pause right now. I can't even do it.
Yeah.
What I want to do, this might be like too much of an undertaking, but I want to kind of put it out there, is instead of that, I'd love like a minute or two of just like me and Bobby from now on.
Yeah, I know. Like, I love that.
There's
I love that. There's, oh my God, there's so much. And I bet you, even if you just took a snippet of that conversation, there'll be something there that is just, one, inspirational, and two, moving, and what people need to hear, because you both had this magical gift, especially when you were together. It's there's a really good sort of flow and banter, but also there was a lot of love there, and you know, and it's please do that, Sean.
I need a little bit of help, I think, so I'm kind of putting it out there for people to maybe like, because I need clips basically. I just need so that can be kind of tricky to do, but I think enough people listen to this, and I might. I feel like a Brendan Myers will just like come up with like, here's 40 clips. It's like, holy crap, dude! Like,
you know, they probably already had them in a hard drive already. They're probably there.
That's true. Well, and Bobby did this amazing thing. Like he would as soon as we got on calls together, he would hit record, because you just never knew what was going to happen. And he would always do like, some of my favorite memories with him was just like this collection of bloopers that we have at the beginning of if we were at Nintendo. It wouldn't just jump into the show. It was like one of us swearing at each other, like screwing up the Patreon reading at the start, and yelling at each other. Oh my gosh. You're right. Like, thank goodness there is so much recorded.
Definitely.
I definitely. Yeah, some evenings it'll just be like I so stupid when I say things like I should be playing a game. Who says that? Like it's just but that's me. But sometimes I just go down the rabbit hole on YouTube and it's just one thing after another and there is countless hours.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Not even just with me.
Just all across the internet, little pockets. There really is.
Yeah. Well, and he had, for every one show he did with me, he did 5 with other people.
Yeah.
So
exactly. And sometimes it's quite good to search the archives again and see what actually happened and the history of Bobby, and he had a really rich history, so
yeah. As time goes on, it's like, oh man, that was too short.
Yeah.
Like it's just so it's just a blip as every week as it seemed, and it was, it's like, oh my gosh, it's just a quick 5 years, a little longer than like a high school kind of experience, or like,
definitely
kind of a college, basically my college time. Yeah. It's just like, that's it.
Which is mad when you put it into perspective like that, isn't it? It really is.
Oh man. I don't want to end on too much of a downer, I guess, but I love Bobby. I will always love Bobby. But I was wondering, because last time we chatted, it was all about Skyrim and the obsession. Yeah, I know you're jumping into content now.
Yeah.
Do you have other, like, this is taking up all my gaming time now? Like, what are you obsessing about right now?
Well, a lot has actually changed since the last time we talked. So I got an Xbox for Christmas from Nasty. So I've been diving into the Game Pass, and I've just literally yesterday finished the Outer Worlds.
Oh, I love it. Good for you.
Brilliant. And both the DLCs, because I was like, I needed more.
Yeah, you did it.
Yeah. But that's the first thing I've really delved into onto Game Pass. And I really, really actually take back everything I've said about Xbox. And I'm so sorry, Sean.
Oh, that's I'm sitting here in a Horizon hoodie. It's like
there you go.
I was just talking to Ed Placencia. I'm like, I feel like I've got things to say about Horizon, but like people see me as like an Xbox person. It's like I play all the things.
All the things.
I need to get onto the PlayStation Drive so I can really like solidify
this.
You
do. Yeah. That's it. And then I started Pokemon Arceus yesterday. So
yes, you did.
I did, and I gotta say, I was so dubious that watching reviews, because I never watched full reviews. I was just like a few little like before you buys or whatever, and I was like, oh, it looks like an emptier Breath of the Wild in a way, not quite looking nice, but oh my god,
empty too.
I am addicted. It is. I am addicted. I am. I find the gameplay so addictive. It's amazing. I'm having such a great time.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, you really like complete games. Like you don't just like, I'll dabble. You just all of Outer World and the DLC and all the things. I mean, Pokemon's got a gigantic, like it's got the Pokedex thing. Like you could play this game pretty much all year.
Yeah, easily. Even it like if you want to do a solid 10-hour session, you can. Or if you want to do a quick little 20-minute, I'm on the toilet, grab the Switch.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. Yes. We've forgotten the big pull of the Switch. Like they should put this on the box. Like you have handheld mode, you have TV mode, you've got toilet time. You know
toilet
what I mean?
Time. That's it. I love it.
I need to get my mind wrapped around that more, actually, that like there is value in a quick 20-minute kind of session. Because I tend to look at things like if I can't really get a good whatever the number is, then it's almost like worthless. It's like that's not the right way to. I'll get nothing done. Yeah. If I'm constantly looking for 2-hour blocks of things, whether it's work or games or whatever, it's like, but you're like a good multitasker like that. I think you can flip. Right? Like you can just adjust and go like, now I'm doing this.
Yeah, I suppose you're very right there.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Did you watch the Nintendo Direct at all? Like, are you like? Do you have to I have to get all those games. Like that's it. Like we were just screwed. 2022.
The best Direct I've seen in a long time. Seriously. Oh my god, I was like that. The whole time. Xenoblade, oh my god, give it to me.
Oh, yes. Tell me, let's talk about Xenoblade before I let you go. Yeah. I played Definitive Edition on the Switch a couple, maybe 2 years ago now. I haven't played 2, but I loved the first one so much that I saw this 3 and went like, well, obviously I have to buy this. But like, where are you? Like, have you played, what's the mech one? Chronicles X? Is that the one?
Yeah, I've not, that's the only one I've not played. And I really thought when the when it came on the direct, I thought it was going to be a remake of X.
Yes.
So I was like, what, a 3? What? You know, when it first sort of got shown. But yeah, I started with 2, and that made me fall head over heels in JRPGs. You know,
oh snap! Like not even just the series, like the whole genre.
The whole genre I've been obsessed with ever since. So yeah, I have a lot to owe that game. I remember it's like, get past hour 10, get past it, because it's a long, like it's a lot for your mind to unravel, because it doesn't make any sense at all.
Of course, wow. And it makes even less sense after like hour 70. You're like, here's what's really going on. You're like, what? It doesn't make it any clearer, like at all.
Exactly. And then I remember at the end being like, oh, like sobbing because of the story, and I fell in love, and I was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever.
Do you remember, because I haven't played the second one, but I can just imagine the flow that it would go through, like the reveals and everything, like here's what's really happening.
Yeah.
Like, I imagine it's quite similar to the first one, which very JRPG, just like when you think about that genre, you kind of expect this. Like if you thought it was like this was a big deal, it's like actually like bigger, think bigger, because it's even crazier. Yeah. Do you remember? I remember I think it was Bobby and I were watching a direct, and I had missed Xenoblade, the original one back on the Wii. I had missed that was a thing. I didn't really understand. I heard people talking about it, but it wasn't until they did the remaster where they're like, this is the premise. It's like these two giants and they're fighting for all eternity and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then there's these two kind of races of people on either side, and they're in this endless war. I'm like, that premise is awesome. I'm here for that premise. Definitely. I don't know at all what the premise is for the second one. I don't know if you can remember.
Yeah,
it's JRPG like, stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I can't even explain it to make sense.
See, this is how you know you finished the game. That's how you know you've actually finished it, is because by the end of it, it's absolutely no sense at all.
You'll sound like you're off your head if you keep like trying to over explain it, you know? Doesn't make any sense. But it's brilliant.
I can't get to the second one until like before the third one comes out. Even though it's like September, there's no hope for me. There's absolutely no hope. I am under a mountain of games just in February here. Yeah. And I don't think March is going to be any better as it looks. Games coming out the end of February here. Yeah. But we do what we can. And we're not supposed to stress this out, right?
No. It's meant to unwind, relax, enjoy.
Heck yes. Tammi, I've had an absolute blast catching up with you.
Same.
I'm so glad I got a holiday today, so I'm not working today, so it kind of worked out with the time zone difference. Yeah, exactly. Do you want to tell everybody where they can find you on the internet, and especially you guys got your new custom URL on your YouTube channel? Congratulations.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. Yeah, so you can find us at Game Nasty on YouTube. And on Twitter, it's just down as Mrs. Nasty Boots. It's not just me. Aaron actually has more control over it than what I do. And I think sometimes you can tell.
I love it. Yeah. Well, links are all in the show notes as well for people to go click and find more, and leave the comments and that sweet engagement juice on your stuff. So do you have any idea of when? I don't want to put you on the spot or pressure or anything. Like, do you know when the Alan Wake one is coming? When do you guys think?
It's going to be before Ghostwire. That's
okay.
There we go.
All right, because you guys are playing that day one?
Yeah.
Clear the schedule. I love it. Well, thank you again, Tammi, for coming on and just catching up. And we kind of covered a lot of ground today. Appreciate
it. There was a lot of philosophy put in there.
Heck yes, we did.
I loved it. Thank you, Sean.
Tammi is the sweetest. That was amazing. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I did. Goodness gracious, I'm so lucky. People actually want to come on this show, man. I don't know, it's almost 6 years running, 5.5 years running, something like that. Wait, more than 6 years? I don't even know anymore, man. I've lost count. 6 years, I think. People still want to come on. I'm very lucky. I'm so lucky that you guys listen, that you support on Patreon, patreon.com/YumiCapri, and also that you're in the Discord. Because we're playing a bunch of games together, you guys. It's amazing. The Backtrackers. This month, we're tackling Spiritfarer by Thunder Lotus Games. How Long to Beat says it takes about 25 hours to complete, but I think it's longer. But jump into the Discord. It's free for everybody. You don't have to be a patron to be in the Discord. Go into the Backtrackers little channel there, and people are talking about it. On March 5th at 11 a.m. Eastern time, we're having a conversation about Spiritfarer. So feel free, man. I also, I don't know, maybe Marcus and Delroy. Shout out to Marcus and Delroy, by the way, for running this whole show. Very, very cool. I think people are really starting to like it, and it's becoming a thing. So you guys don't want to miss it. The Backtrackers, it's a community-driven video game book club. You play the game, you talk about it, you I don't know, you drink warm tea. I don't know. What do you typically have in like a book club? You gossip, you get around, and I don't know, I might be getting stereotypical here. Backtrackers, please, guys, go play Spiritfarer. If you've been playing it, you can talk about it in there, and that is something I'm really proud of, and I know Bobby would be so impressed by that and just so happy. Like, this is a completely community-driven thing, and I love it. Go play it. A couple things I want to tell you guys about before the clip of me and Bobby here to close things out. Speaking of being lucky, I was asked to be on a couple podcasts this week, so stay tuned for these. If I can find the links, I'll put them in the show notes as well. I was on, I joined N64 Josh and Friends over on the Nintendo Powercast. This is like one of the #1 Nintendo podcasts on the planet. And Josh asked me to be on there, and we talked about the Wii U of all things. Good times, man. So go check that out. I had a great time on the Nintendo Powercast. And then, very similar to this kind of show, just had a sweet hang with my good friend Drew Agnew of the House of Mario podcast. But the podcast you want to be looking for is A Drew Story. And I got to just yammer on even more than I typically do. So please go check that out. Show links, have all the things. Show notes, have the links. I'm rushing because here it is, me and Bobby. Goodbye.
Well, let me say something before. I've already taken like an hour and something of your show.
Let's just keep going.
We're just gonna, I'm taking over your show, all right? We're just gonna keep going. I just want to tell anybody this. Anybody that's listening to this right now, I pray that you do two things. You go check out everything that Sean is doing, because he's doing great stuff. He's doing God's work for us lowly podcasters and getting us the limelight a little bit. But also, if you are doing podcasts and things like that, shoot him a message. Get on this show, because I'm going to tell you right now, I've guested on quite a few shows, and this has been by far one of my most favorite episodes that I've done for somebody, just because I don't know why. It was great. We're talking about stuff that I really enjoyed talking about. It was carefree. You cut the chains off my jaws and just let me go, which everybody that knows me knows that's a mistake, but you braved it and you were bold. Just kidding. Not kidding about the me not shutting up, because I'm definitely a long-winded person. But honestly, check out Sean's stuff. Follow him, Sean Capri, like the pants. He says that all the time on Twitter. Check him out, seriously. But he's a good guy. Like, when I sent him the message and said, hey, I'd like to come on the show, I was worried that he'd be like, you're a nobody. I'm not bringing you on the show. Are you nuts? Then I realized he brought Josh Brandt on, and I thought, if he brought Josh Brandt on, he'll bring anybody. No, seriously, check out everything that Sean's doing.
Oh man, well I don't do the video on my PC here, but if you could see me, I'm just totally red. You've absolutely warmed my heart.
That's good.
Thank you, man. That's very kind words. I really appreciate
I don't mean any of it. I'm just hoping to get a second invite back.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah, I'm just lying
absolutely.
to you. But... just hoping that he'll be like, this guy's really awesome. I'm going to bring him back again. It's like, I could give two shits about you, Sean. Don't follow nothing. No, just kidding.
No, that's all right. I know what New Jersey's all about.
Just playing.
Well, hey, actually, before we go, I do want to, maybe we could talk about this offline too, but I've got a friend of mine for Christmas. He gave me a gift card to Best Buy, which is great, but he also gave me a giant 200-pound box full of Nintendo Power. So I'm going to take some pictures of them. I don't know what to do with them. I think they're amazing. They're all in great shape, but they've been sitting ever since Christmas. I don't know. I'm in the, like we were talking about before with space. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these things, but I'll let you know. We'll work something out.
Yeah,
maybe I could ship a couple your way. But that would be great, man. I really appreciate you coming by and chatting with us. We're just talking about old times, and that's what it's all about. I absolutely love it.
Indeed.